Good day to everyone, and we hope that everyone is safe. We've had a rough week, haven't we? And, when we saw each other on Friday, I said, looks like we're going to have some rain in the forecast. And my dad always used to say, never trust a hurricane. I grew up in Corpus with a million hurricanes every year. And he said, all of a sudden, it's going to betray you and come back and, hit you right where you don't expect it. And boy, it sure did. It hit us here in Edinburgh just a little bit north, but we still had a lot of debris on the ground. A lot of people are still underwater. And so we're praying for all of you. Hope that you all are doing well. Just persevere. We persevered with this pandemic. And so now we've got this. And so it's a test. how much faith do we have, and how much resilience do we have? And we do have resilience. And so all we got to do is just what you got to do. And this kind of brings you to the point about having things on hand that you can use to make food at home when you can't get out. I have some friends that it took them a while. They still don't have electricity, but they couldn't get out of their home because they were surrounded with water. And so Laura, how did you fare in Laguna Vista?
We're doing very well. Lots of wind, but overall we had some light rain, and I guess all the worst part went to you all. So I'm sorry to hear about that. But all here during all of this, I want to remind people, don't get distracted and continue to wear your mask and wash your hands. And don't forget that we still have the COVID-19 pandemic right at our doorstep. So our numbers continue to grow, and that does concern me. So we do have a lot of things to work with right now, but in the middle of it, we're staying home, and it's time to make something with what you have in your freezer and have in your refrigerator. And it's a great time to use things out of your freezer, just in case you run out of electricity. You want to be sure that you don't have too many things stored up in there. So pull them out, and it's time to use them up.
Yeah, I remember one year we did that, and we had a big barbecue and shared with everybody in the neighborhood back in Corpus, because what can you do with it? And so it's a time to help each other. Okay, you've heard a million times, it sounds maybe cheesy, but we're all in this together, and we're here to help each other. And in that time of emergency, it doesn't matter if you're blue, red, green, purple, yellow, brown, whatever, we help each other. And so that's what we're about. So today we have some great recipes for you to share. And mine is really simple. I'm going to let Laura go first and tell us about her recipe, because if you have people staying with you, this would be a great recipe to have on hand. And it's an easy thing to do, and something that, can be prepared ahead of time. And so I'll let you tell them all about it, Laura.
Great. Well, I am a fan of Bisquick, and I am a fan of their cookbooks. And I've had this for years, and I know that Dr. Ida makes her own biscuit mix, and maybe one day she can share the recipe with us.
Yeah.
On hand. And for years I've been making this do ahead breakfast casserole. You don't have to do it ahead, but every time I've had company over, it makes me feel organized. It makes me feel like I've got it all together. And people are always commenting on it, and they're always making copies of the recipe. So today I want to take it from one of my favorite cookbooks, the Bisquick cookbook. And this is a very simple casserole. What I love about it is that it's all the things that kids do enjoy. They like hash browns, they like ham, they like cheese, and they like eggs. So we're combining those things. And this particular recipe, I would make it in a 13-by-9 pan. And me particularly, I like to make it in individual little loaf pans or in muffin tins. And you can love about it is if you freeze them or refrigerate them, you can just take out the amount you need, and you don't have to be messing with the entire casserole at one time. And being the same way we're in, it makes it really simple. So no one's handling the knives and the spatulas and things like that. You're just taking out what you need and heating it up. So today I'm going to be using my loaf pans, but again, you can be using your cupcake tins, and it's going to make about, I'm going to say 24. Right now I am making half of the recipe because this morning I made the other half. And it does have some measurements, but actually you can play with this particular recipe. The only thing that gets delicate is using your milk mixture. You want to be sure that you follow that exactly. But the rest of the items, you can play with it. And it's going to take 1 cup of chopped ham, and you can just use what you have at home. And it asks for, the recipe asks for 10.2 ounce bag of frozen hash browns. It also asks for a cup of chopped green pepper and onion. And this particular hash browns already have green pepper and onion. It comes in a mix already. And if your children do not like green peppers and onions, you could go ahead and leave that out and just use your regular hash browns.
Those are my favorite. I like those O'Brien potatoes, they call them. And I like those because it already has all that in it.
And then it asks for you to just use half the amount of cheese. On a regular recipe, it would be 1 cup of cheese. But since I'm making half the recipe, I've got the cheese, the hash browns, and the ham. And I will tell you, I have done this with sausage. I have done this with chicken. Whatever you may have at home. I've never really tried cooked chorizo, but it might be something you might want to.
I was going to say, I bet that's good with cooked chorizo, yeah. Make sure you cook it beforehand. Want to say hi to Leticia Olvera. Thanks for joining us, Leticia. Glad you're here. Glad you're on. Yeah.
That's my sister from Dallas area.
All right.
Great to see you out there, Letty. I went ahead and I greased these ahead of time. You could just use the spray pan. Okay. And egg loves to stick to metal, so you want to be sure that they're very well coated. And this, again, is something your kids would have a blast doing. They're going to just place this mixture on the bottom of these tins. And I believe kids would have a real good time with this. I don't know kids who don't like hash browns or ham or cheese, so it makes for a great little recipe. I've also used this for a brunch if you were to have a special. It could be eaten in the middle of the morning. And I have served it with fruit. I have served it with aguacate and crema. And I've also used pico de gallo. It just depends on who you are serving at the time. But this becomes quite simple. And again, you can't go wrong. You don't want to overfill them, but you want to be sure there's a little mixture in each one of these. Since the recipe asks to bake for about 60 minutes, I will tell you that because these are smaller, it's going to take a lot less time. So be sure and keep an eye on your oven. The oven is set at 375 degrees. So at this point, I've got the little mixture set into my tins. Half a recipe made 9 loaves. So I believe that half a recipe will fill your 12 cupcakes.
Great. And it's something that you could do ahead of time and finish doing the rest of it in the morning. And so you save time, you know.
Okay, the next part of the recipe is asking for me to mix 3 cups of milk, and I'm going to use just 1.5. And it asks for 4 eggs, and I'm using 2 because I did the other half this morning. And then it asks for a cup of Bisquick, and here I have a half a cup of Bisquick. It asks for some salt, and if you'd like, you could add comino, you could add your herbs from the garden. And at this point, I'm just going to whisk that up. This container does have a spout, so it would be easy for me.
Yeah.
So you could place it raw in your refrigerator overnight, or you could bake it immediately. The good thing about this is that you could just pour it into your little muffin tins.
Pretty easy.
It is pretty easy, and it also allows you to use what you have on hand.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things we've been talking about. So if you have ground beef, you could make it into little evening casseroles.
I sometimes have one or two slices left over of deli ham or deli turkey, you know, and it's like I like to put because they're super thin. I like to put two or three on my sandwich, and if there's only one or two left, this would be a great way to use it up.
It sure would. And some people like to use the can of Spam. This would also be a recipe you could make with Spam. But if you have a little bit of sausage that you've cooked the day before, it's another thing you could use right here. The last thing I'm going to do with these is just sprinkle the cheese on top. And believe it or not, they are either ready to bake or ready to place into your refrigerator. And in the morning when your company is getting ready to get out of bed, you have these in the oven. And by the time they come into the kitchen, it's super simple.
And it smells delicious, and it'll help get them out of bed.
Yeah. And you can serve it with homemade biscuits, or you could serve with anything. Now I'm going to show you those right here.
Awesome.
These are going to take for about 20 minutes. And I'm going to show you the finished product here. These are my little loaves. I'm not sure how long your oven's going to take, but be sure to look for a golden color at the top. And they usually look really puffy. And as soon as they come out, I go ahead and run a knife around the edges to help the air escape and to make sure they don't stick.
That's amazing.
Lift them.
Awesome.
These freeze great, so you could place them in layers of wax paper in your freezer and just pull out what you need. So for a quick brunch, you could serve it with orange slices, a little bit of grapes, a little bit of toast, maybe wheat toast or whatever you may prefer. And here's your little egg and ham mini quiche. You could also pico de gallo, salsa verde, crema, you name it. Be creative. But here's something.
Or all of the above.
All of
Give your guests a choice of all of the above. That's awesome.
Okay.
Wow, that's amazing.
Let me go over the recipe one more time if you'd like to catch it. It is on our website, but it is 1 cup of diced cooked ham or sausage. It is 10.2 ounce bag of hash brown potatoes, 1 medium green onion, and 1 tablespoon instant chopped onion. And again, I skipped those last two because the hash browns that I purchased did have green onions already mixed in. And then you're going to use 2 cups of shredded cheese, 3 cups of milk, 1 cup of either reduced fat or regular Bisquick or any other biscuit prepared mix, and a dash of salt and 4 eggs. Pretty simple, pretty easy, and delicious. Enjoy.
That's right. We want to welcome Maria Solis and Melissa Loftus, and they have comments about, she says, I'm going to make this tomorrow morning. That's what Letty says. And Ron Ramirez, hey, Ron. We also want to say hi. Well, Maria Solis said, wow, this is yummy. So, easy to do. And you could serve it as a brunch item. You could have it in the freezer. You could have it, pull it out, heat it up in the micro, just very lightly. You have to kind of experiment with that. Because remember, the microwave cooks in seconds, not necessarily minutes. So you've got to be able to get it just right. So glad that you're on. Let's see who else is on. James Fisher. Okay. Looks very easy. It was easy. Just see what she did. Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for that. So hang on, because I'm going to share my recipe now. And my recipe again, and this is the last recipe that we're going to do from the Disney Princess Cookbook. And it's Jasmine's homemade hummus. Okay. I want to tell you a little bit about hummus. Hummus is one of those recipes that, has just been coming of its own in the last, let's say, 10 years or so with a lot of people. It is a recipe from the Middle East, and it uses chickpeas, okay? Now, the Spanish word for chickpeas is garbanzos. So they look like this, okay? I don't know if you could see that. little round beans. And it's a legume. It's comes from the plant family, of the legume plant family. And legumes, we eat the seed of the plant, like we eat the beans and the peas and that kind of thing, and not the leaves and that kind of thing. So we've taken, this is a 16-ounce can, and I'm going to use my NutriBullet to make this, because I got rid of my blender because I had too many appliances. And so it's like, I use this a lot for smoothies. And so I found that it works for other stuff too. So one of the things I want you to know about chickpeas is that they're very, very healthy for you. Okay. They're high in protein. They're high in vitamins and minerals. People who eat at least a serving of these a day have known to lower their bad cholesterol about 5%. And so they're high in fiber as well. Very good for you. And so this is why we've taken a non-dairy sort of thing to promote. And I've got it right here with or you could use pita triangles that you can serve it with. And I sprinkle a little bit of cayenne on the top. It cost maybe, I think this was $1.38. The rest of the stuff I kind of had it here. And so, a serving is 2 tablespoons, and it has about 25 calories. So it's extremely healthy. I like to eat it with a jicama sticks. And you can use bread, you can use chips, you can use carrots, you can use, celery, whatever. So we've got our 16 ounces of chickpeas here. We're going to add 1/4 cup of olive oil. If you don't have olive oil, you can use avocado oil. You can use a light oil, okay? And we're going to add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And I was going to go out to my backyard because I have a Mexican lime tree. I was going to do limes, and it's a little wet back there, so I decided not to. So I have lemon juice here. So 2 tablespoons. Now, many of the hummus recipes ask for you to use, one of the ingredients is called tahini. And tahini is sesame seeds that have been made into a creamy kind of a thing. You toast them on a dry skillet. You have to watch them real closely because they're little tiny sesame seeds. And so once they're toasted, you let them cool. Then you put them in your blender or NutriBullet, and you just let them, put a little bit of olive oil and let them become creamy. And this gives a lot of the hummus a different taste, kind of a nutty taste. It's like making sesame seed butter, like almond butter or peanut butter or whatever. This recipe did not ask for tahini. And so I was interested in trying it out. So we've got our beans, our olive oil, our lemon juice. We're going to use 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. My son told me last night, "You're not going to use tahini?" And I said, "No." He said, "Well, I made it once and I didn't like it without the tahini." I said, "Well, we're going to try it." And we're going to use 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now, one of the things that I want you to know about using the NutriBullet is the NutriBullet usually requires a lot more liquid. This does not have a lot of liquid, so I'm going to have to pulse it, a little bit. So I've got I don't know if you can see it, I've got it over here. And take it out and shake it a little bit. So you got to do this a couple of times. This is why when you do a food processor, it's a little bit different. But that's got it pretty well. And so that's all there is to it. Now, we're going to put it in a little bowl. It is very creamy. Now, you can add roasted pepper to this, roasted tomatoes. You can add jalapeno. You can add all the different varieties that's in the store. But, when you buy the garbanzo beans, of course, you can cook your own if you like. But when you buy them in the can, it's a non-perishable. So you can make this anytime you want to at home. It's low in calories. It's very tasty. Not to mention that it's extremely delicious and very nutritious as well. So we're going to sprinkle a little bit of cayenne to that. And to me, it looks like if I had it on one of the containers that you sell commercially, there is our hummus.
What
Yeah.
a great savings!
Yeah, it's a big savings. This much already made is about $3.68.
Yes.
And, you know, we spent $1.38 here, maybe a couple of dollars in other ingredients here, but, you know, this is garlic powder for me is, you know, whatever. And so you just take your triangle and put it on here and enjoy. You can do different herbs. Sorry, I'm chewing. Different herbs, different things that you can put on here, but it's an easy recipe. And one of the main things is, we've said it before, nutrient dense is important. Let's see what we have. Some hummus looks delicious, and what a treat to have it fresh. Absolutely. You know exactly what went into it. You can add whatever else you want to into it. And, you know, it just makes a great treat. Now, before people ask me, why do I have a bandage on my right arm? Well, I had a run-in with a cat that adopted us several months back. And the day after the hurricane, he came to eat, and he usually eats in the back by himself. But this time he was eating in front with another cat, and he didn't like that. And so I put his food down, but then I moved it because it started raining, and he thought I was going to take it away. And he had, you know, you should see the cat. No, he looks fine. I'm the one that looked bad. And so I'm okay. I did go to the ER and get taken care of. I love cats, don't get me wrong, but this guy is an alpha male, you know, and there was another alpha male in the vicinity. And so he wanted to show who, you know, that he belonged here. But it's okay. But I'm fine. And it's taken a little while to heal up, but it's okay. But I was able to make my hummus. It's a great recipe. Now, the main thing I want you to remember is that it's rich in protein, okay? And protein helps to build and repair body cells. It helps your digestion. It helps your cardiovascular system. And, you know, again, it's low in calories. It is higher in carbs. And so if you're on a keto diet, you gotta be careful. Instead of 2 tablespoons, just do 1 tablespoon. And jicama sticks, and it makes, you know, great. I want to show you that I bought a jicama. I had it delivered, and they sent me like the biggest jicama in the world. And so I made it into sticks. And so this is a way to eat the hummus as well, and the way that I like it. And you can use any kind of bread. You can use chips. You can use whatever. But it's fresh. It's good. It's delicious. It's easy to make. And your kids will love it, and you will love it, and your guests will love it as well. Makes a great dish to serve before you have a dinner party or dinner or whatever. Kids come in, they say, "Oh, I'm hungry. I want a snack." This is a great snack. Okay, throw out the air chips and throw out some of the other stuff, and give them this, and it's filling as well. So it's very good. What do you think, Laura?
I think it's awesome. And, you know, Ida, right now you've got some little tiny viewers. You've got Callan, you've got Crew, you've got also you've got Matthew, and you've got Olivia. They're all watching the show, and I know they love hummus. I know that they also make it in hummus wraps with a tortilla, and then you cut it into pinwheels. That's one of my favorites. Pretzels go very well with that. And so
extremely versatile. It's very tasty, and again, you can make it at home with no effort. This is our effort to help you with health literacy information. to stay healthy during this time. Protein is one of the things that your immune system needs, okay, to stay really functioning strong. And so no sense in, you can't eat steak every day. You can't eat chicken every day. And you got to mix it up a little bit. This works great in a vegan diet. And, just make it your own. Just make it your own. We give you kind of the basics here, and then you take it from there. So
say hello to Caden. I know he's out there watching you. And
awesome. Okay.
Hummus. And Caden and crew can make their own hummus at home. So thank you for watching today. Here, I hope you got some great nutritious recipes that you can make all by yourself. So
that's right. And this is brought to you by the South Texas Literacy Coalition. Follow us on Facebook, because we had a trivia night a couple of weeks ago, and it was fun to have. We're going to have a trivia night that's a little fundraiser. We're a nonprofit, and we receive donations from whoever wants to give us money. And we distribute about 60,000 books a year all over South Texas. And now's the time to read. Now's the time to not have that summer slide, so that you can be ready for when school starts again, whether you go virtual or whether you go face to face. And so gotta read recipes, okay? Got to know math on how to measure and that kind of thing. So, if you know somebody who has a business and says, I'd like to donate to somebody who's really doing something. We're really doing something. And every penny that's donated to the South Texas Literacy Coalition stays in South Texas and goes out to the communities. And so, we've been working with the food bank. We've been working with the Driscoll Children's Foundation. We've been working with different ones. I do want to give a shout out to International Paper, because they were gracious enough to give us a small grant for our books, our South Texas Reading Initiative. So thank you, International Paper, for doing that. It means a lot. It helps us with the cost of storage, of acquiring the books and getting them out there to people. And we're doing all we can. And so teachers, if you're interested in putting together a packet of things for your students and want to include a book in there, please go to our website, www.southtexasliteracycoalition.org, and find the book request form and get that to us, and we'll make arrangements to get it to you. We're trying to do contactless delivery right now, and so sometimes we can get them ready for you. You can pick them up. And do it that kind, in that manner, or find some other way to get it to you. So we'd be happy to share that with you. We'll be having some more authors on our network reading, okay? And we're going to be doing some things for teachers to help them as they're reading. And I also want to give a shout out to our Lawyers for Literacy program that received a state award from the Texas Bar Foundation. They also gave us a small grant. And so kudos to the Hidalgo County Young Lawyers Association, which are doing a great job. And hey, young lawyers out there in Cameron and Starr and Willacy County, let's join forces, and we'd love to have y'all. Literacy is in everything that we do.
Absolutely.
We have to read, we have to understand, we have to do numeracy, whether we're making a recipe or whatever. Lawyers know better than anybody that literacy is important in their life. And so we'd love to partner with you. And so give us a call or contact us through Facebook, and we'd love to partner and get the information to literacy. And about the legal careers that are available to boys and girls. Many of them don't know that there's many more things besides, just being a lawyer. That's so important, but they're not sure about the governmental system. They're not sure about, a lot of different things. And then there's a lot of steps towards being an attorney. So, call us. We're more than happy to work with you, and we're open to lots of suggestions. So Laura, thank you so much. Glad you're safe out there. Please stay safe. Please wear your mask. Please sanitize. Please wash your hands a gazillion times and social distance. Get in the kitchen, make some hummus, and make some breakfast casserole and enjoy. Have a great and safe weekend, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.
Thanks for watching.